referred to I-747, but even before I-747, how many of you remember 695? And I wonder how many of you really feel great relief today that you're not paying as much for your car tax as you were back in the late 90s. Because the county lost millions when I-695 passed, and that was before 747. And it brought a whole lot. It brought a lot of juvenile justice, it brought a lot of health care, it brought a lot of human services to Kitsap County. And it's gone. And then 747 happened. But nobody says, well, you know, that wasn't really that painful for me. Go ahead and reinstate something to that effect, even if it's less. You know, we continue to pay our lesser car tax. We continue to let Iman's initiatives pass and go along with them. We're not asking our government for more support for our government. So I just would plant that seed with you that government does cost money, and that it has been cutting. Kitsap County government has been cutting and cutting and cutting. And we've gotten to a point where the inflation or the economic crisis has struck us, just like every one of us in this room, I'm sure, has felt it in some way. And government has too. So Lucy, to answer your question about not taking it across the board, actually what we did is we said to all departments, we have got to take $3 million out of the budget because we're not going to have it by the end of the year. How can your department do that? And we need we wanted to look at 4 to 6% from every department. And in the end, it wasn't uniform, but Law and Justice had the 4%, 4.12% cuts. And the rest of the general fund departments had a 6.12% cuts. But we didn't say, cut it right across the top, take the same amount from every department. What we said is, you in each department, the directors and the elected officials, could decide what they were going to do with their own department, how to manage their own department. And so it came in a lot of different packages. And it was really creative and innovative and done in very good faith. And so the human story here is the people who work for Kitsap County have really stepped forward in the last few months. And we offer the opportunity to do voluntary furloughs, and employees stepped forward and did that. They took time off without pay voluntarily, because they knew that was going to keep more people employed at the county than if they didn't. And we saved a lot of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, in being able to do that, but it still wasn't enough. And so now we have a lot of departments. Our department is going to a 0.9 FTE. Instead of full time, they're taking a 0.9 each employee in our department. And what that's led to is many departments are doing the same sort of thing, so that we will be closed in the administrative buildings 1 day a week. We're only going to be open 4 days a week, at least through the end of this year. The courthouse will still be open, but the administrative offices will be closed, or they will only be open from 8, and we stretch the time 8 to 5, 4 days a week, and they'll be closed on Fridays. So I think that you really need to know that we're working very hard to do the right thing, to provide the best level of government that we can in the conditions that are before us. And we're not alone. Every elected official has stepped to the mark on this, and so has every department director, and actually every single employee. So I think that's really, really remarkable. Sharon asked about stimulus. There are some opportunities, and we're beginning to look at that as the deadlines come due. And there will be some weatherization, there will be some repairs to our buildings, but the stimulus dollars are supposed to do 2 things primarily. The first is build partnerships that may not have existed before, whether it's in government, between governments, and we're working across the Puget Sound with the cities and counties and all forms of government across the Puget Sound region to see if we can't find some initiatives that we wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And secondly, it has to create jobs. So we're looking at the kinds of initiatives that we can start here in Kitsap County or cause to grow in Kitsap County to be able to create more jobs, to put more people back to work. And that will bring more money into the county, whether it's directly to county government or to the county in general, that will stimulate our broader economy. So I think we're doing everything we possibly can. I think the pieces, there's lots of moving pieces, and I think that some of them are fitting together really, really well, but it just means that we have to take it one day at a time, and we have to make the best decisions we can that are in front of us when they are there.
I know that there are lots of other comments. I know that this is not the end of this conversation. I don't read blogs. In fact, I avoid reading blogs because they pretty much drive me nuts. But I did because Rob Gelder brought comments to an article that was in today's Sun regarding the state budget deliberations. And it was a little challenging to wade through them and wade through a lot of the wacko comments that are out there. But we need to think in terms of how do we help educate those folks that we interact with on a day in, day out basis so they can better understand where we are, and instead of reacting with criticism, which is kind of cheap and easy, but really take a look at what are the long-term issues that all of us are impacted by, and how can we actually resolve these issues in a productive manner, as opposed to, comments like, throw all the incumbents out and, get rid of no art in public places, like that's going to really save a teacher. But, there are a lot of people out there that just don't really have a grasp as to what's going on, and they're reacting out of their situation, out of fear, out of ignorance in some cases, and we need to be prepared to respond, because we've got some folks that I think are trying to do a really effective job under really difficult circumstances, and we've got to be prepared to assist them in taking some of that heat that's going to be out there when they're making decisions that aren't fun and positive. Jim, real quickly wrap up, and then we'll go.
Real quickly, I think it's unfair and undemocratic. We only have one business sector's represented here tonight. So I'd like to represent banking and finance. I'd like to say taxing and banking, load me up because I deserve it. I just want to make one clarification. The administration building and public works is closing on Fridays. And the courthouse is not. It's not because the courthouse is not cooperative. The county can determine all the other things. They cannot determine, commissioners can't determine the way the court is in session. That can only be done by the Washington State Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice of the Washington State Supreme Court, in an inquiry as to whether we could do this, said no, you cannot. Lack of funds is no reason to close the courts, which the courts cannot close only through the state Supreme Court. So that's the reason, not because there are two offices, though, that aren't 5 days. So there's 7 days a week. That's the coroner and the sheriff. They don't go by 5 days or 4 days anyway.
So coming back on Fridays, too, right?
7 days a week. Saturday or Sunday.
I would first of all, like to thank both Commissioner Bauer and Sean for being here this evening. This has been kind of where all the commissioners have been. Charlotte and Josh were in front of the 26th district a couple of weeks ago doing the same presentation in terms of, this is where we are, this is what we need to be looking at. Our legislators are doing that on the 23rd here, coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have the same here in May. So, because we need to know where the criticism is going to come from, and what criticism is founded, and what criticism is just, as I said, off base and irresponsible. And we're going to have our work cut out for us, unfortunately, because of the nature of the issues that we're dealing with. And we're just a microcosm of, we're impacted by everything that's going on elsewhere, and that's going to be our job to prepare for and be geared up for, because we're going to have people that are fine public servants, fine representatives, but they're going to be taking a lot of heat.